The connection of loneliness with the economy is a complex one. But I think what we are seeing increasingly in our work at Capita is that economic precarity and insecurity are really drivers of loneliness and disconnection. There is, as my colleague Ian Marcus Corbin has helped me to see more clearly, there's real sense of malaise or alienation, sense of enemy around the country that is, we think, driven by, frankly, a neoliberal economy, an economy that favors the maximization of profit, that sees human beings not as interdependent cooperators with one another, but as autonomous utility maximizing individuals. And that, we think, is not who we are as human beings, that we are fundamentally cooperative and interdependent, but the economy is not set up like that. And as a result, the economy is driving the sense of not only loneliness and disconnection, but this broader sense of malaise and disaffection. There's certainly things that we can do at the public policy level to address those economic drivers of loneliness and disconnection.
Today's conversation reminded me of the myriad of challenges families are facing right now. The way our economic environment intersects with our policy landscape, with where we are collectively as a nation right now with our politics, and how all of that impacts loneliness, connectivity, family relationships, economic security, so on and so forth. This is a very complex, nuanced, layered issue, and therefore we need complex, nuanced, layered, and really smart and strategic solutions. And so I'm really excited to hear more and more about what Still Case Foundation is doing to that end in order to meet families where they are, how they are, and to help them get where they want to go.
One of the things that has really drawn us to connecting with Capita and their work on loneliness and disconnection is our focus on felt difference as a potential outcome for our work. And there's some real connection there in saying maybe what we need to be focusing on is how people are feeling in their engagement with nonprofit folks. Maybe even our work and how we engage with grantees, part of how we can deem if we're successful or not is rooted in, do folks feel heard? Do they feel seen? Are we creating authentic connections and relationships and opportunities to really co-create together? And the more that we can do those types of things, we think the more that we can continue to help support building a less lonely, less disconnected community.
It's such a complex discussion and conversation, and it's such a sensitive one that I think we need to be open and honest with each other in these conversations. And I focus a lot on the educational experience for students because that is what Launch Michigan is. Our mission is to redesign that system to accommodate for the child, to allow experiences and for them to be successful and open to opportunities and for their quality of life. That includes educators as well and the load that they carry. It can be a lonely world, and when you're working so hard around the clock, it's in their families that they go back to. I think that it's an incredible conversation to have and one that Michigan as a state needs to tap into heavily to address.
What brought me to this meeting was that I was in a prior meeting and a health professional mentioned that life expectancy. And he said life expectancy decreases when you have factors like diabetes, high blood pressure, and he's going down this list. And he said, but there is one issue that impacts a person's life expectancy by 10 times all of those other conditions. And he said it was loneliness. And that blew my mind. And I said, oh my gosh, I think there's more work we need to do in this space. So from that one conversation brought me here today, and I'm glad I came.
I think the biggest takeaway is that we have to really take a whole of society approach and as well as a whole of government approach to addressing the crisis of loneliness and disconnection in the country. It really has to be a through line in everything we do. Whether we're dealing with agricultural policy or we're dealing with social policy, we need to be asking the question, how can we support families to be more connected with each other and with their communities?